This evening, first up, nearly $800 million in tax demands quashed. The High Court rules against the GRA in its battle over a Ferrari and Rolls-Royce belonging to members of the Mohamed family, calling the Revenue Authority's actions unreasonable, unlawful, and beyond its legal powers. Also, justice for a young autistic boy whose abuse was caught on camera and shocked the nation. One teacher dismissed, another forced into early retirement, and a disturbing revelation about prior infractions that were never reported. Then, a woman walks out of a Herstelling supermarket in broad daylight, and two men pull up with a knife, ripping the jewellery from her body. One suspect is already in custody after a swift police intercept. The other is still out there. Meanwhile, good news for Guyana's seniors. The $20,000 transportation allowance starts flowing from Wednesday, collected the same way pensioners already received their monthly payments. No new lines, no new hassle. And at least 59 people are dead in the Ivory Coast after weeks of relentless rain and flooding, with neighboring Ghana also counting its losses. West Africa's storm season is turning deadly. Those stories and more are coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 3rd, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the High Court has delivered a significant legal blow to the Ghana Revenue Authority, quashing nearly $800 million in tax impositions targeting two luxury vehicles belonging to members of the Mohamed family and ordering the Revenue Authority to pay costs. Justice Gino Prasad ruled that GRA's enforcement actions against Hannah Mohamed and Bibi Mohamed were unreasonable, unlawful, and lacked statutory backings. The two vehicles at the center of the dispute are a used 2020 Ferrari and a 2023 Rolls-Royce Cullinan, both of which were previously targeted for seizure by GRA and police officers. In Hannah Mohamed's case, the court quashed a tax demand of over $479 million. It overturned demands to surrender the Ferrari, finding that GRA's failure to properly consider her explanation for temporary absences from Guyana was arbitrary, irrational, and unfair. The matter has been remitted to the Commissioner General for a fair reconsideration. In Bibi Mohamed's case, the court quashed a tax assessment of more than $320 million on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan and granted a permanent injunction preventing GRA from seizing the vehicle. GRA was also ordered to pay $750,000 in costs by August 13, 2026. The court additionally struck down two conditions routinely imposed by GRA on remigrant duty-free concessions, requiring vehicles to be used solely as the owner's primary transportation and mandating 6 monthly in-person inspections, declaring both conditions beyond the authority's legal powers under the Customs Act. Outside the court, Hannah Mohamed described the ruling as vindication, while defense attorney Sian Dijon called the decision a victory for judicial independence. Investigations into related matters are ongoing. On a different note, a routine trip to the supermarket turned into a terrifying ordeal for a 30-year-old woman on the east bank of the Marara when two men pulled up in a car, drew a knife, and ripped jewelry from her body in broad daylight. The incident occurred approximately 1 p.m. on Thursday, July 2nd at Herstelling, East Bank, the Marara. According to preliminary investigations, the victim had just exited a supermarket and was walking along the street when a white motor car carrying two males pulled up beside her. One suspect stepped out of the vehicle armed with a knife, pointed it at the woman, and forcefully removed a yellow metal chain and a yellow metal ring from her person. The victim sustained an injury to one of her fingers during the confrontation before the men fled the scene in the vehicle. The matter was promptly reported to police, who acted swiftly on information received and intercepted the white motor car in Georgetown. The driver, a 33-year-old male from South Rhymeville, Georgetown, was arrested and placed in custody. The knife and the vehicle were lodged as evidence. A second suspect remains at large, and efforts are actively being made to locate him. Investigations are ongoing. Moving on, justice has been served for a vulnerable child whose abuse was captured on video and shocked the nation. Both teachers responsible have now been removed from Ghana's education system. The Teaching Service Commission has concluded its investigation into the mistreatment of a student at the David Rose Special Education Needs School, resulting in the dismissal of one teacher and the forced early retirement of another who was nearing the end of her career. Both decisions were handed down following a formal disciplinary hearing. Significantly, both teachers pleaded guilty to the mistreatment claims during the hearing, though they sought to offer explanations. The hearing also uncovered that both individuals had multiple prior infractions on record that had never been forwarded to the Ministry of Education. This troubling revelation raises serious questions about internal oversight at the institution. The case erupted in late May of 2026 when video footage circulated widely showing a young autistic boy being struck about the body with a belt by teachers at the school. The Ministry of Education launched an immediate investigation, with Minister Sonia Parag visiting the school on May 29th to meet with affected parents and offer reassurances. In the aftermath, the ministry has announced structural reforms, including the establishment of a board of governors with direct parental representation, a commitment to address high student-to-teacher ratios, and recommendations for specialized training for teachers at special needs institutions, a gap exposed during the disciplinary hearing. The family of the abused child has since retained legal counsel. The government reiterated its zero-tolerance stance on students' abuse, stating the conduct seen in the video is wholly unacceptable. It does not reflect the standards expected of those entrusted with the care of Ghana's children. Stick around when we return. $20,000 transportation grant for senior citizens rolls out on Wednesday, and over 200 Region 2 families closer to their dream homes.
From every region, Guyana is coming together. One Guyana worship experience. Featuring award-winning gospel artist, Sinach. Grammy award-winning worship leader, Naomi Rain. Also featuring Positive.
Rolling in my two-man army. My Jesus and I.
Samuel Midas. Timothy Roberts.
The name of Jesus is higher than every name.
Renwick Jewellery.
No more detours. I move according to purpose. No more detours. Not this time.
Faith Korika Ned. Solid Youth, and many more. But passes must be secured through your local church and designated distribution locations across the country. July 6, Guyana National Stadium. One nation, one voice, one Guyana worship experience. Sponsored by the Government of Guyana.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing July 1, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE, if you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2026, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change, correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone whom you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. All GCOM registration offices will open Monday to Friday from 8 to 18 hours, Saturday, Sunday and holidays from 10 to 14 hours. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Guyana's elderly population has another reason to smile this week. A long-awaited transportation allowance is finally arriving in their hands. Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vinaya Prasad, has confirmed that the $20,000 annual senior citizens transportation allowance will begin distribution on Wednesday, July 8, 2026, providing old-age pensioners across the country with additional financial support to help cover travel costs.
Good morning, Guyana, and special good morning to our senior citizens. As I am crossing the mighty Essequibo River to head to Region 2, I am very happy to announce that your transportation grant of $20,000 will be available on Wednesday, July 8th. This is the transportation grant that was allotted in the 2026 budget to our senior citizens or our old age pensioners.
The grant introduced in Budget 2026 is designed to supplement the monthly old age pension, which was also increased this year to $46,000. Together, the monthly pension and annual transportation allowance represent a meaningful boost to the income of Guyana's senior citizens. The transportation grant will be distributed through the same channels pensioners already use to collect their regular monthly pension, making the process straightforward and familiar for recipients.
We are happy to make this process very easy and seamless for you. We know every day you need to take transportation to go somewhere, whether it's taking a boat ride or a ferry ride across the river, taking a taxi to get your groceries, or maybe heading to the hospital or clinic for your medication, maybe just to visit family or friends. Whatever you choose to do with it, here's how you can access this transportation grant. Simply take your 2026 pension book to the nearest Ministry of Human Services and Social Security office anywhere in the country. You can do this and have the officer at that office stamp the first page of the last 2 pages in your book that has on it for official use only. Let that first page be stamped to the value of $20,000 and then simply take it to your post office or any alternate payment venue like MoneyGram, Western Union, or SurePay, and you can encash that voucher to the value of $20,000. Now, you're probably getting your pension in the bank. If you are, or via MMG, it is very simple. We will deposit that transportation grant in your bank account or transmit it to you via MMG.
All registered senior citizens are eligible. The announcement comes as the government continues to expand its social support programs for vulnerable groups. Persons on the Permanent Disability Register have also benefited from an increase in their monthly grants to $25,000 under Budget 2026. Senior citizens are encouraged to collect their transportation allowance through their usual pension collection points beginning Wednesday, July 8, 2026. In other news, hundreds of families in Region 2 are turning empty house lots into real homes thanks to a government subsidy program that has been quietly making a significant difference since its launch in 2022. Some 276 residents in Region 2 alone have received building material vouchers totaling $62.1 million, helping low and middle income homeowners tackle one of the most expensive stages of construction, laying the foundation. Persons constructing homes valued up to $6 million received the required seal and 1 sling of cement for their foundation, while those building homes valued $6 million and $25 million received 2 slings of cement. Nationally, approximately $75 million in vouchers have been distributed under the program to date, with more than 70,000 additional vouchers distributed during the recently concluded International Building Expo 2026 through the Ministry of Housing's Dream Realized initiative. Minister of Housing Colin Crowell highlighted the program's continued expansion during his address at the Expo, framing it as part of the government's broader commitment to making home ownership a reality for ordinary Guyanese. The initiative targets recipients of government house lots who may otherwise struggle to begin construction due to the upfront cost of building materials, removing a key financial barrier between a family and the home they have been allocated. With demand for house lots continuing to rise and the government pursuing a target of 40,000 new homes within its current 5-year term, the Steel and Cement Subsidy Program remains a practical and impactful tool in Ghana's expanding housing drive. Don't go away after the break. U.S. heatwave. Temperatures soar ahead of 250th birthday celebration, and Jamaica to formally petition King Charles for slavery repatriations.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewellery and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewellery and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewellery and Pawn Shop.
From every region, Guyana is coming together. One Guyana worship experience. Featuring award-winning gospel artist, Sinach. Grammy award-winning worship leader, Naomi Rain. Also featuring Positive.
Rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I.
Samuel Midas.
Time I checked, my wings are better and my thoughts are higher.
Timothy Roberts.
The name of Jesus is higher than every name.
Renwick Jewellery.
No more detours, I move according to purpose. No more detours, not this time.
Faith Korika Ned. Solid Youth, and many more. But passes must be secured through your local church and designated distribution locations across the country. July 6, Guyana National Stadium. One nation, one voice, one Guyana worship experience. Sponsored by the Government of Guyana.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing July 1, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2026, and you're a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can object to anyone whom you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed in the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. You must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Friday, July 17, 2026. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, Jamaica prepares to petition King Charles for slavery reparations. Venezuela's earthquake survivors face critical shortages as relief efforts intensify. Deadly floods killed dozens across Ivory Coast and Ghana. And the U.S. swelters through a heat wave as it marks 250 years of independence. We will begin in the Caribbean. Jamaica will formally petition Britain's King Charles III for slavery reparation on September 6, Jamaica's Cultural Minister Olivia Grange has announced. The date marks the 1781 departure of the slave ship Zong, during which 140 enslaved Africans were thrown overboard. The petition will ask the King to refer 3 questions to the Privy Council concerning the criminality of transatlantic enslavement and Britain's obligation to provide a remedy. In La Guaira, efforts are now shifting from search and rescue to urgent humanitarian relief as displaced Venezuelans face critical shortages of food, clean water, medicine, and shelter across the region. Al Jazeera's Zain Bashravi reports.
Debris fields litter earthquake-affected areas in La Guaira state, and clearing work is already underway at abandoned rescue sites. But more than a week after twin earthquakes in Venezuela, cleanup crews still stop to give rescue crews a little more time.
We've just heard there may be someone alive in one of these collapsed buildings, and canine rescue units are being called in to investigate.
Professionals search the site with dogs and detection tools, calling for total silence, calling out to survivors, listening for any response. While Venezuelan volunteers, drawn to the suffering of their own people, do what they can to help.
I saw some TikToks and a little girl whose face appeared in the middle of the rubble with an incredibly beautiful smile. That motivated me, it touched my heart, and I said, I have to be there supporting them.
A disagreement stops work as local police insist the site has gone cold. But international search and rescue teams continue rolling through the scene, insisting there are positive indicators, and that someone may still be alive and they must carry on. A medical team is ready and waiting.
The cutting and the digging has been going on for hours, and they just brought a stretcher into the collapsed building. There's a lot of tense faces here, and people are waiting for any news from inside.
The window for finding survivors closes a little more every day. Stories of miracle rescues offer people hope, but some international teams have already left. Others are expected to follow in coming days. There is a notable shift in the disaster response. While search and rescue and recovery work is ongoing, people left homeless and living in basic shelters need immediate assistance.
Those of us who are left are in God's hands. We need more help, more food, more water, more medicine, more manpower to keep getting relatives out. Help, just help. This is horrible. No one expected this. This devastation happened in seconds.
Focus is shifting to emergency relief. Food, water, medicine. Government aid stations like this one are lifelines for people living in the heart of the disaster zone. But this is just the first phase of what will be a years-long recovery process. And Venezuela will almost certainly need humanitarian assistance on a massive scale to get people back on their feet. Back at the rescue site, dozens of people carry on searching for hours, on the chance that one person might still be alive under the rubble. At 1 a.m, an aftershock shakes the scene, and the search is finally called off. If there were any signs of life, there aren't anymore. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera, La Guaira State, Venezuela.
At least 59 people have died in Ivory Coast as a result of heavy rains and flooding. Torrential storm has also struck neighboring Ghana, resulting in the death of at least 12 people. Al Jazeera's Camille Nadilek reports.
A lucky escape. Heavy rains in Abidjan in Ivory Coast triggered a landslide that swept through Zambile Romio's home.
Even the bed was destroyed. Thank God we were able to get out of the house. We were still inside. We'd spent the night there. I never thought something like this could happen.
Dozens of people have already been killed since the start of the rainy season in May. Many others now homeless.
We're left to fend for ourselves. We really don't know where to go or where to put our belongings.
The government has said it is trying to save lives by raising neighbourhoods at risk of flooding. In a visit to the affected area, one local official even said those who were killed shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Unfortunately, today's victims were living in areas that had not been fully cleared. Sadly, it's this disregard for safety measures by some residents that has led to these tragedies. Once again, our teams are on the ground demolishing structures located in high-risk areas.
Residents who live with the threat of landslides also live with the threat of bulldozers. Last month, the Zimbabwe neighbourhood was also torn down, the latest in a series of such demolitions in Ivory Coast in recent years. The government says it's to protect residents from floods, but also to restore order. People say their homes were destroyed with little to no warning, which local authorities have denied. But residents have been left to pick their belongings from the ruins with no compensation.
I haven't found another place to live yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. They say it's for the country's development. We can't say no. We're exhausted and we're suffering.
Across the border, Ghana also pledged to crack down on unofficial structures. After the country recorded its highest rainfall in years earlier this week, flooding killed several people. The president has warned that as climate change worsens, so too will dangerous heavy rains, and it will be beyond Accra's control. Camille Nedlek, Al Jazeera.
The United States is in the grip of a heatwave as the country prepares to celebrate 250 years of independence. People are being warned not to spend too much time outside, even as big outdoor events take place in the nation's capital. Al Jazeera's Richard Gisford reports.
Washington, D.C., hats and hydration are the order of the day, and where there's demand, there's supply.
Don't let dehydration ruin your vacation.
With this heat, it's good business.
4th of July, we bring in like about good at $8,000.
The Great American State Fair is the centerpiece of the 250th anniversary celebrations in the U.S. Capitol, with patriotic Americans braving the heat.
We're prepared. We have water, we've got the towels. We're going to make the best of it.
We have these fans. You can feel that.
Oh gosh, I can feel that.
Well, not too bad for me. I'm from Florida. But it is a little hot. But for my wife being a diabetes, it's really bothered her very much.
I just felt like I was going to pass out. So it's very hot for me.
It's a heat dome across more than half of America that's locking in these high temperatures. Cities in the east are worst affected. In Massachusetts, this ice maker's seeing a big spike in sales.
I love the heat. The heat has made this business an Iceman's dream.
And in New York, they're sweltering. There's no telling these children in Washington that heat waves can't be fun. And with temperatures that feel like 44 degrees Celsius, I can't tell you how tempting that looks.
We are under what's called an extreme heat alert from today through Saturday, which includes the large 4th of July celebrations, as well as a lot of other events that are going on in the National Mall.
Despite the heat health warnings, the president's looking forward to Saturday's event.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
Anyone wanting to see fireworks in Washington on the National Mall this Saturday will need to stand outside in the heat for most of the afternoon due to tight security. And the heat wave could play havoc with World Cup fixtures.
High temperatures making it tough for fans and players alike. Those hydration breaks, even more important. Richard Gaisford, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Thanks, Dominic. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for a day holiday weekend, but you can tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other and do have a wonderful CARICOM weekend.